This audiobook is for educational purposes and is for personal use only. The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, Volume 1 by Drunvalo Melchizedek. Everything is connected. There is only one reality and one God, but there are many, many ways that the one reality can be interpreted. In fact, the number of ways to interpret the reality are just about infinite. There are certain realities that many people have agreed on, and these realities are called levels of consciousness. For reasons we'll get into, there are specific realities that extremely large numbers of beings are focusing on, which include the one you and I are experiencing right now. In the higher self reality, we literally exist in other worlds besides this one. There are so many dimensions and worlds that it almost surpasses human capability to conceive of it. These levels are very specific and mathematical, and the spacing and the wavelengths in and between these levels are identical to the relationships within musical octaves and other aspects of life. But right now your third-dimensional consciousness has probably been severed from your higher aspect, so you're aware only of what's going on here on Earth. This is not the norm for beings existing in a natural unfallen state. The norm is that beings first become aware of several levels at once, like chords in music, until finally, as they grow, they become aware of everything everywhere at once. The following example is unusual, but it demonstrates what is being talked about. I'm in communication with someone right now who is aware of many levels at once. The scientists who are studying her are speechless, they cannot understand how she does what she's doing. She might be sitting in a room, yet she claims to be watching from outer space. NASA checked her out by asking her to see a specific satellite and give specific information that could be known only if someone were actually there. She gave them readings off their instruments, which I'm sure seemed impossible to the scientists. She said she was flying alongside the satellite and simply read them. Her name is Mary Ann Sinfield. She is legally blind, yet she can walk around a room and no one would know that she cannot see. How does she do it? Recently she called me, and while we were talking she asked if I would like to see through her eyes. Of course I said yes. Within a few breaths, my field of vision opened up, and I was looking at or through what looked like a huge television screen that filled my field of vision. What I saw was astounding. It seemed that I was moving very fast through space without a body. I could see the stars, and at that moment Mary Ann and I, seeing through her eyes, were moving alongside a string of comets. She was very close to one of them. It was one of the most real out-of-body experiences I have ever had. Around the perimeter of this TV screen, there were about 12 or 14 smaller TV screens, each one giving extremely fast images. One of them up in the upper right-hand corner was flashing rapidly moving images such as triangles, light bulbs, circles, wavy lines, trees, squares etc. It was this screen that told her what was in the immediate space where her body was located. She could see through these seemingly unrelated images. There was another screen in the bottom left-hand corner where she communicated with other extraterrestrial life that was within this solar system. Here is a person who is in a three-dimensional body on Earth, but has full memory and experience of living in other dimensions. This manner of interrupting the reality is unusual. People do not normally see in the TV screens, but we do exist in many other worlds even though most of us are not aware of it. You presently exist on probably 5 or more levels. Though there is a break between this dimension and others, when you connect with your higher self you mend that break, after which you start becoming aware of the higher levels and the higher levels start paying more attention to you, communication begins. This connection to the higher self is probably the most important thing that could happen in your life, more important than understanding any of the information I'll be giving. Connecting with the higher self is more important than learning to activate the Merkaba, because if you connect yourself to yourself, you will get absolutely clear information on how to proceed step by step through any reality and how to lead yourself back home into the full consciousness of God. When you connect with your higher self, the rest will happen automatically. You will still have to live your life, but everything you do will have great power and wisdom within your actions, thoughts and emotions. Exactly how to connect with one's higher self is what many people, including myself, have been trying to understand. Many people who have somehow made this connection often don't know how it happened. In this course I'll attempt to explain exactly how to connect with your higher self. I'll do my best. Left and right at brain realities. There's one more component to this picture. I'll be spending perhaps half of our time on left brain information like geometries and facts and all kinds of information that to many spiritual people would seem totally unimportant. I'm doing this because when we fell, we divided ourselves into really three, but primarily into two main components, which we call male and female. The right brain, which controls the left side of our body, is our feminine component, though it's truly neither male nor female. This is where our psychic and emotional aspect leaves. This component knows that there's only one God and that oneness is all there is. Though it can't really explain it, it just knows the truth. So there are not a lot of problems with the female component. The problem is on the left side of the brain, the male component. Because of the nature of how the male brain is oriented, a mirror image of the female, it has its logical component forward, more dominant, while the female has its logical component toward the back, less dominant. The left brain does not experience oneness when it looks out into the reality, all it sees is division and separation. For that reason, the male aspect of us is having a difficult time down here on earth. Even our major sacred books such as the Quran, the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Bible have divided everything into opposites. The left brain experiences that there is God, but then there's also the devil, perhaps not quite as strong as God, but a huge influence. So even God is seen in terms of duality, as one pole of the opposing forces of dark and light. This is not true in all sects of these religions. A few of them see that there is only God. Until the left brain is able to see the unity running through everything, to know that there is truly one spirit, one force, one consciousness moving through absolutely everything in existence, until it knows that unity beyond any doubt, then the mind is going to stay separated from itself, from its wholeness and from the fullness of its potential. Even if there's the slightest doubt at all about unity, the left brain aspect will hold us back, and we can no longer walk on water. Remember, even Thomas walked on water for a short moment when Jesus asked him to, but one little cell in his big toe said, "Wait a minute, I can't do this," and Thomas sank into the cold water of polarity reality. Where we're going with this information? I'm dedicating a lot of our rhyme to showing you beyond any shadow of a doubt that there is only one image in everything. There is one and only one image that created all that exists, and that image is the same image that has formed the electromagnetic field around your body. The same geometries that are in your field can be found around everything, planets and galaxies and atoms and everything else.